What is up, everybody? My name is Anthony. This is VR365. Welcome to another episode of our show. Today is Sunday. It is January 12th. We are in the year 2020, and it is about 11:33 a.m. on the clock right now. If you're on Twitch, you're watching this live. If you're on YouTube, you're watching this on a tape delay. And so basically the way it works is I do 2 shows every week. I do a show at 5 p.m. on Thursdays on YouTube, 5 p.m. Pacific time. I also do a show on Sunday, 11:30 a.m. Pacific time, but it's live on Twitch, not on YouTube. Then what happens is when this show is done, when it's in the books, I go ahead and I download it off of Twitch and I run it through this thing. It's a process, basically. So anyway, I have to do some stuff to it. I chop it up a little bit, the beginning, the end of it, maybe chop out some boring parts if I have an opportunity to do that. And then I have to render it and upload it to YouTube. Ultimately, what happens is this episode that you're watching right now, it doesn't get uploaded to YouTube until the wee hours of the morning, at least the wee hours for me. So people on YouTube won't really see this until tomorrow. So if you want to see it live, this is the best way to do it. You get to watch the episode live. You get to watch the episode as it happens. We're going to go ahead and start off like we always do. Or at least this is the way I'm going to be starting off in the foreseeable future. I want to start off by thanking the sponsors of this program. And this week, no new Patreon supporters. So a couple of weeks ago, Zach LaFontaine, brand new Patreon supporter, jumped on the bandwagon. Really glad to have Zach LaFontaine join us. Then last week was Andy L. Mai. Andy L. Mai, oh my, jumped on the Patreon as a Patreon supporter. Not a brand new sub, like a returning sub, but new back in with the program. And this week, no new Patreon supporters. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go to the random grab bag of existing Patreon supporters, and I grabbed Zayla Maru. So Zayla Maru, been down with the program for a very, very long time, and been a follower of this show. I've seen Zayla Maru many times in chat and stuff. Good supporter of VR365. There's a lot of people that have supported VR365 for a long time, and they kind of just remain in the background, and they're kind of quiet participants. Zayla Maru, thank you so much for being a Patreon supporter for a very long time. Really appreciate your support. That is awesome. All right, another thing that I like to do is anybody that has made a PayPal donation since our last episode, I would like to recognize those people. Once again, no PayPal donations. So we are 0 on the PayPal donations. So what I do is if we haven't had a recent PayPal donation, instead what I do is I go to somebody that did a PayPal donation previously that was $20 or more. And recently we've had Christian Olson with a $20 PayPal donation. Then the name slipped. I think it's Michael Kowarski had a $20 PayPal donation. And so now we're going back into the month of September of 2019. Deli Wolfensparger had a $25 PayPal donation. And he actually sent me this donation. This was right before I left to Oculus Connect 6, to OC6. Deli Wolfensparger donated $25 and said, hey, this is traveling money for you going to OC6. So thank you very much, Deli Wolfensparger, back on September 23rd with a $25 donation. I really appreciate it. Now, if there is a brand new PayPal donation, then I will reference that on Thursday's episode. But we've been a little bit slow in that category. But I did want to thank our Patreon supporters, our PayPal donators, and of course, all of you that are doing the Twitch Prime thing. For example, Draken67 subscribed with Twitch Prime just now, and is currently on a 2-month streak. Draken67 has subscribed for 2 months and is also on a 2-month streak and is in chat saying hello, everybody. All right, so now what I'm going to do is let's get into our discussion for this week. And one of the things that I didn't do last Thursday is I didn't do any Game of the Year discussion. And the reason I didn't is I didn't have my montages together for Game of the Year. It takes a while. You know, it's like grabbing all these little trailers and then trying to find like a 15-second or 20-second slice of the trailer, mixing it all in, rendering, blah, 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 blah. It takes a little bit of time. It is a process, and if I don't have a lot of time to work with, it does suck. But guess what? Today we're going to get deep into Game of the Year discussion. We last left off, it was June. Now we're going into the month of July, and we're also going to do August. So I actually have 2 months of Game of the Year discussion. We're going to do July and August. So we're getting a little farther down the line. Look, I know this is taking forever, but we're eventually going to get through this. And, you know, it's still interesting to look back at these different months and think, what were the best games that came out during these different months? And to go into a little bit of a deeper dive. So that's what we're going to do. So right now, I've got to do the first montage. I broke them up into 2 pieces. Rather than having a real long montage that drags on forever, I've broken them up into 2 pieces. So these are the best games of July 2019, part 1. And I'm going to run that montage, and then we're going to go over all those games. Then I'm going to run the montage part 2. We're going to go over those games. And I'm also going to be talking a little bit about budget cuts too, Mission Insolvency. It is a game that I've randomly returned to and started playing. Yeah, I still need to play Boneworks. I need to play Stormland. I need to play Asgard's Wrath and so many other things. But I just found myself going into budget cuts too, so we're going to talk about that as well. But let me go ahead and grab our first montage. Actually, you know what? Maybe we should run the 60-second ad break. And now we'll wait. It's got 8 minutes. Okay, so I'm going to grab the first montage here, and let's get into the best VR games of July 2019. Here we go.
Welcome to New Austin.
Sounds just like Rick and Morty. I love Rick and Morty.
Simpson, listen. We have to shut down the Arc device.
Why don't you just execute her? She's dangerous.
I pledge my honor. Victoria will never be free.
Rogan, who do you work for?
I don't work for anyone. Leads only work for money. Strong, but I will break you soon enough.
You know when you have a good hand, and you're not afraid to go all in.
Alrighty, well, that is montage number 1. That is part 1 of the games of the month for July 2019. And so I broke them up into 2 pieces. And let's go ahead and talk about the first group of games here. Okay, so the first one that we saw was Scraper First Strike, which came out on July 2nd for PlayStation VR. Now, there should be a little asterisk right next to PlayStation VR because this game cannot win Game of the Year, but it could win, conceivably, PlayStation VR Game of the Year. Now, I've liked Scraper, I've played it, but I have not tried the PlayStation VR version, and you never know when it comes to ports that go to these other platforms. You never know if it's going to come through and be the kind of game that you remember, or if it's going to be kind of a dud when it hits some of these other platforms. Now, regarding Scraper, I don't know that I've heard lots of people ranting and raving about how good the PlayStation VR version is, but I also haven't heard people saying it's absolute garbage either. So I got to imagine it's pretty good. So that is Scraper First Strike, started July off for PlayStation VR. Now, on July 3rd, Accounting Plus arrived for the Oculus Quest. And you can see there we do have an asterisk. And what that means is Accounting Plus cannot win our Game of the Year. It could win Quest Game of the Year, however. Now, Accounting Plus, I'm one of these people, I might be in the rare minority where I don't think accounting or Accounting Plus is that big of a deal. I think it's kind of cool. You know, it's cool. It's very enjoyable content, but I'm not the guy that's going to be ranting and raving about Accounting Plus. Like, I like Justin Roiland, and I like the comedy and all that stuff, and I like Trover, and I've seen a little bit of Rick and Morty and stuff like that, but I'm not the guy that's like ranting and raving and thinks it's the greatest thing in the world. It's pretty cool, but it might be priced a little bit high. I can't remember if this is $10 or $15. It should be 10 though. It should be 10. I don't know if it's 15, I can't remember, but that is Accounting Plus. Okay, Unearthing Mars 2 arrived for PC VR on July 3rd. And you know what? The reviews on this one are mixed. Actually, people seem to like this better on PlayStation VR than when it came to PC VR, because I know a number of people have played Unearthing Mars 1 and Unearthing Mars 2 on PlayStation VR, and they feel like Unearthing Mars 2 is way better, and it also uses like the aim controller and stuff. The PC VR version, kind of mixed, you know, so far we don't have a big banger. Okay, Rogan, The Thief in the Castle. This was on our thing last month. I made a mistake, ladies and gentlemen. I had this as coming out on June 4th in our last month breakdown. I mean, the last time we did Game of the Year, when I was doing the month of June, I had Rogan in there. Rogan didn't come out in June. It was early July. I made a mistake. Nobody called me on it, but now I have it corrected. Rogan, of course, we talked about this one last time. You know, here's a game I hyped up ridiculously. Graphics looked incredible. This is one of these games where it definitely did not live up to the hype, but it's also one of these games where maybe we shouldn't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Maybe it didn't live up to everything we wanted it to be, but if you're able to get Rogan on a really deep discount and you're into stealth and you like graphics, you might, you know, it might not be the worst thing right there, right? Okay, then the next one we have Sirento VR. It arrived on July 10th to PlayStation VR. Obviously, this cannot win Game of the Year for 2019 because it's already been out on other platforms prior, but it could potentially win PlayStation VR Game of the Year. Now, again, just like I said with Scraper, this is one of those situations where when these games get ported over to a new platform, you never know if the port is really going to be outstanding and everybody's going to be ranting and raving about it, or if the port is kind of janktacular and it's a major disappointment. Sirento VR, I don't really remember exactly what the response was for PlayStation VR community. I think they mostly liked it. Although one thing I do remember about Sirento VR coming to PlayStation VR, the price was crazy high. Like ridiculously high. It was like $20 more than you get it anywhere else. So that was kind of weird. Okay, now the first big banger in the month of July is Defector, arriving on July 11th for the Oculus Rift. This is the game that people were dreaming about and people were hoping for to be like one of the bigger games that we got in the year of 2019. I've got to be completely honest with you and tell you that I was disappointed with Defector. This game just never vibed with me. I don't know why, because I know there's other people. I believe MRTV, when he first got Defector and was first playing Defector, I think he said something crazy like, Defector's the best VR game I've ever played, or something like that. I might be misquoting him, but I thought I heard him say that back when Defector first arrived. You know, I'm obviously paraphrasing, and that wasn't exactly what he said. But I heard some people talking about it like that, and I'm like, you know what? I need to go back into Defector. Give it another chance. I did do that. Still don't get it. I still don't get it. The graphics are good. It is a high production value thing. You know, you're talking Twisted Pixel. You're talking Oculus Studios. You're talking about a lot of money. But, man, I felt Defector kind of missed the mark. But we're looking at the month of July, not exactly a barn burner, okay? The month of July, not exactly tremendous heat. Kind of weak sauce if you really want to get down to it. And then I also have Fugal on here, which arrived on July 11th. Not really a game. Fugal is a bit more of what we would call meditation or just relaxation. You know, you just want to chill. You just want to relax. You just want to calm down. You've had a very stressful day at work. Well, you might fire up Fugal and kind of just relax and chill and fly through the jungles. That's kind of what Fugal was all about, but not really a game. And then also maybe a bit high on the price. I can't remember, but it shouldn't cost more than about $6 or $7 in my opinion. It should be like $5.99, $6.99, because there's no game there. It's just like a meditation kind of a thing. I always thought that they could have made more of a game out of it, kind of Pilot Wing style, flying your little bird thing, your little bird guy through like circular hoops, or trying to collect little things that you could find in the environment. I thought they could have gamified it. They didn't really do that. Okay, now that is our first montage. Let me go ahead and check over here in chat just to see if anybody is talking about any of this stuff. Okay, so Paolo Triani says Scraper is now on Viveport. Another incredible reason to have Viveport. Like if you don't have enough reasons to have Viveport, you should have them. You know, you should have them. You should have enough reasons to get Viveport at this point in time. Let's see. So I'm continuing to scroll through here, looking at messages to see if anybody has any thoughts on any of this stuff. Yeah, for July, I say Rogan. Okay, some people are saying Rogan should be the game of this month. Paulo Triani says Defector should be the game of this month. Fluke says, I've only played Accounting Plus from that list, but it wouldn't get my vote. Dude, Fluke is pretty harsh. Fluke is not quick to love stuff, all right? You don't easily impress Fluke. Fluke is hard to please. He's a bit on the picky side of the coin, I think I would say. Let's see. Recycled 3D basically says, Sirento wants you to spin in 360 degrees. Not so great for PlayStation VR. Alex seemed to enjoy the hectic action though. You know, that is a great point there. PlayStation VR is very front facing. And so if you get a game that is very 360 in nature, you kind of neuter it quite a bit. So yeah, that could be a possibility right there as far as that goes. I'm checking chat right now just to see. VR Spry Guy says, I didn't care for Accounting Plus either. One thing I'll say, look, Accounting Plus, I'm not trying to like pile on and say Accounting Plus is a dud. It's cool. It's fun. but it should be like $5 max, in my opinion, because it's not really a game. It's just like, it's like a little, I mean, I don't even know if I would say it's I guess there is some interactivity to it, and it's kind of cool. I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm being a bit harsh on it, but I just think it's so effing overrated because everybody wants to love everything that Justin Roiland has ever done. Justin Roiland could shit on a plate and put it out here, and people would be like, oh my God, that's the best shit on a plate I've ever seen in my entire life. It does turn into one of those situations, guys, kind of a group think sort of a thing. Okay, so now what we're going to do, we're not done with July, folks. There's more games in the month of July. So let's do our second montage. Let's talk about these. I think I got 5 more games in the month of July to talk about. And then we'll talk about what game won the month of July. So let's go ahead and do that. So I am going to grab montage numero 2. So let's grab montage number 2 for July, and we'll check these babies out.
Round 2. Fight. Telefrag.
The people are counting on you, cyber pilot. The Resistance just captured some Nazi killing machines. Show us what you can do. Get back out there, cyber pilot.
All right, well, that is the second montage of the best games for July 2019. Let's go ahead and grab our list here, the second list, and then we can think about what is game of the month, what is our runner-up of the month. And so here we go. So we started off with Gun Club VR on July 18th. Obviously not a brand new game to the year 2019, but it is brand new to the Oculus Quest. And you know what? This game really resonated with a lot of Quest owners. Quest owners really like Gun Club VR. So, you know, that does resonate pretty well. Okay, Racket NX arrived on July 18th for the Quest. Again, not a brand new game to the year 2019, but a brand new game to the Oculus Quest. And I can tell you, I was lucky as a dog because I got an early preview look at Racket NX before it actually arrived on July 18th. I was playing this like a week early, and I was loving it. I love this game. One of my favorite Oculus Quest games, Racket NX. I mean, here's a perfect example. We were just talking about 360 degrees with Sirento VR and how that might be a problem on PlayStation VR. You want to talk about a problem on PlayStation VR, Racket NX would be a major problem because it is the very definition of 360 degrees. This is a game that is difficult to play in a regular VR headset because you're going to get tangled like a mofo. I really liked Racket NX. Telefrag VR, tell a friend. Tell a friend about Telefrag. You know, this is one of these games where, man, it really slipped through the cracks. Does anybody even remember Telefrag VR? I feel for, what is it, Anshar Studios? I forget the developer of this title. But man, this game might not have hit the mark very well. Now, it arrived on July 19th, hit PlayStation VR. It also hit PC VR. Very Space Junkies-like. If you watch the trailer, it reminds you of Space Junkies a little bit. But you know, the problem we have in the VR world is if you have a multiplayer-focused game and it does not resonate right away, you're kind of done. You're kind of done. And even if it kind of resonates but then fizzles out, you're also done. So Telefrag VR, I don't think really resonated with a lot of people very much. I'm sure there's some fans of it out there, but I don't know that that's the banger of the month. Wolfenstein Cyberpilot arrived on July 25th. Now, I was like out of town or something. I know I wasn't around when Wolfenstein, I think I might have been, was this when I was on vacation in New York? Maybe it was when I was on vacation in New York because I was not around when Wolfenstein Cyberpilot arrived, and I basically just kind of forgot about the game. And then when I got back home, everybody was saying it was basically garbage, and I never played this. This is one of those games that I completely missed, and we're talking about a game, I think, like looking at the trailer for Wolfenstein Cyberpilot, I'm wondering if this game, I'm having trouble talking right now. Okay, I'm wondering if Wolfenstein Cyberpilot was one of those situations where the baby was thrown out with the bathwater, that basically we have these unreasonable expectations because this is Bethesda. You know, this is Bethesda. This is like Machine Games worked on Wolfenstein Cyberpilot. This is another big VR game. Well, we thought, right, it was going to be a big VR game, and this was a game that is really VR, and it was built for VR from the very beginning from Bethesda or under their umbrella. So this is going to be like a really huge game. And then when it came out, like a lot of people were kind of turned off by it, and then so the hate like just poured, and it got worse and worse. And I do think this might be one of those situations where the criticism was overblown, like it went too hard in that direction. But I don't know. I mean, I'm just watching the trailer and I'm like, you know, this might actually be like if you got it dirt cheap. You'd have to get it dirt cheap. It'd have to be something where you don't really care about. You pick it up on a really cheapo sale and you're like, you know, Wolfenstein Cyberpilot, not exactly ass on a stick. Actually halfway decent, kind of. You know, if you can be a little bit forgiving with it, right? Okay, and then the last one, we have Raccoon Lagoon, which arrived on July 25th. The developer of this one, Hidden Path Entertainment, these guys have delivered quality titles. These are the Brass Tactic guys. These are the Witchblood guys. They came out with Raccoon Lagoon, and I'll tell you what, I haven't played this one, but watching that trailer, the very end of it, like the very ending of that trailer where they're showing all these really colorful scenes, all these, you know, these little beautiful like cartoon looking scenes with lava and snow and forests and jungles, Raccoon Lagoon looks kind of cool. I'm not sure what style of game it is. Maybe like an Animal Crossing or like a Harvest Moon kind of a game. Maybe very chill, maybe very relaxed. I honestly would be surprised if Gaming Science Teacher has never played Raccoon Lagoon. But that one arrived on July 25th, and it's also available on the Oculus Oculus Rift, by the way. We kind of think of it maybe as a Quest game, but it's also on the Rift as well. So, one of the things that we can realize about the month of July, not a banger of a month. The month of July was kind of weak sauce. But remember, the month of May was ridiculous. So we kind of needed a breather anyway. So much stuff arrived in May, especially if you were like a Quest owner, just an absolute onslaught of stuff arrived in May. Maybe we needed a little bit of a breather in July because August was going to get pretty hot. There were some big games that were due to arrive in August. So maybe this was kind of a little bit of a breather month for us, but I didn't think it was really banging. Okay, now let me go ahead and see what some folks are talking about in chat that might be related to any of these games here. Recycled 3D is saying at VR365, good luck on your AdSense resolution. Squeaky wheel gets the grease, so I've heard, so keep squeaking. Yeah, I don't really have a resolution yet, but I am very hopeful. Team YouTube on Twitter is helping me with this situation, and so I'm hoping that that gets worked out. But there's no resolution yet, but I do remain very hopeful for that. Okay, let's see. Paulo Triani says, thank you, God, for more games in the month of July. Not sure if he's joking or if he just thought the very first group of games was super weak sauce, hoping for a little bit of a better one. Now, Paulo says, I like Cyberpilot. See, there we go. And iPad Carry MG, Wolfenstein Cyberpilot, the clear winner for July. That's interesting, ladies and gentlemen. That's interesting because normally people are kind of negative on, like, if you go to Wolfenstein Cyberpilot, if you go to the Steam page, it's like bad. Like the reviews are not good, but I think a lot of it is just angst and like people just being pissed off at Bethesda in general for all kinds of different things. And they took it all out on Wolfenstein Cyberpilot. And then also the game isn't what a lot of people wanted it to be. It's very short. It's very limited. But that's interesting that we got a couple of people in chat that really liked Wolfenstein Cyberpilot. Gibbon Triple X says, can we pick 2 games in August instead of any of them in July? Yeah, I wish we could change the rules like that. No, there has to be a game of July. There has to be a game of the month for July. There has to be a runner-up for the month of July. The one thing we might not get in the month of July is any wild cards whatsoever. We might not have any wild cards in July. Lethal Kill. I know there's a way to pronounce this that is lethal. God, I'm getting it wrong. So anyway, Lethal, something like that, has subscribed with Twitch Prime and has been subscribed for 5 months and is currently on a 3-month streak. Thank you so much for that. VR Spry Guy says, I like Racket and X. One of those games you pick up and play for a few minutes. Fluke. Okay, is Fluke coming in with the negativity? Because Fluke is hard to impress. Let's see what Fluke has to say. He's saying, I know it's been said before, but Racket and X screwed itself out of sales due to the demo being too generous. I played the demo quite a bit, then never bought it. Yeah, this is one of those situations, folks, where they gave away the store. They originally gave away the store, and then later they're like, oh, wait a minute. No, we want you to actually pay for the store. The same exact thing happened with Waltz of the Wizard by Alden Dynamics. Waltz of the Wizard gave away the store, and now they're trying to ask for money, and it just makes it hard. And I feel bad. I feel bad for both One Hamza and Alden Dynamics, both of them, because they're both quality things and they should get paid for those damn things. Okay, Gaming Science Teacher bought Raccoon Lagoon on a small sale. Haven't played it yet, though. Oh my God, I'm shocked. Honestly, I really am a little bit surprised because I thought maybe being kind of Animal Crossing, Harvest Moon, cutesy kind of a style, I thought maybe that might appeal a little bit more to Gaming Science Teacher. Not trying to be stereotypical with that, but I just thought it might a little bit. Okay, iPad Carry MG says Quest has way too much kitty junk. And yeah, and Skiva007 caught a live stream. Skiva007, Racket and X is where lethal Lee kill. Oh yeah, lethal Lee kill. Yeah, I get it. Like lethally. Like I killed that mofo lethally. Okay, lethally kill. Yeah, I get it now. I don't know why my brain does not work with that too good. And Iron McCann, also in the building, says, I like Racket and X. I just can't play it anymore because I don't want to bang up my controllers. Yeah, that is a little... Well, you only need one controller, though. That's one of the cool things. But anyway, let's go ahead and... and Greg's VR says, if you have to guess the name... No, dude, I have problems guessing people's names. Like, I'm kind of bad at it, actually. I'm worse than most. Okay, so what is the game of the month? This might surprise some of you peeps. What my game of the month for July is. Let's go ahead and talk about it. And my pick for VR game for the month of July 2019, it is Racket and X. Racket and X. This is what the Quest was made for, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I'm not trying to say that Racket and X is the best game on the Oculus Quest. I'm not trying to say that. But I am trying to say that this is why we need an Oculus Quest. Racket and X is like the poster child for why you would want to have an Oculus Quest. I remember I was in New York. I was in the Big Apple. I brought my Oculus Quest with me, and I had Racket and X on my Oculus Quest, and I was in the hotel room. You know, you're waiting for like different people to take their showers and get ready and stuff. So sometimes you're just sitting around, you're waiting for something. I fired up my Oculus Quest. You know, I'm in a relatively small space here, and I'm getting my Racket and X on. And you know, the cool thing about Racket and X, you only need to turn on one controller. You only need whatever your dominant hand is. You don't need to have the other controller turned on. You could just have one of them, you know, and you're just playing racquetball. You're spinning around. The 3D audio is really good too. Hopefully you got some good headphones. You pump up the volume. Racket and X, I think, is a very high quality title. Now, is Racket and X gonna hold you down for months and months? No, it's not that kind of a game. It is a quick banger. It's like if you want 15 minutes of a little bit of enjoyment, you know, like some quick banger enjoyment, that's what Racket and X is all about. That is my game of the month for July 2019. Now, having said that, this cannot win Game of the Year, folks. This cannot win Game of the Year. It can win Oculus Quest Game of the Year, but it cannot win our overall Game of the Year because it is not a new game, in my opinion. It's coming to a new platform. Okay, so what is the runner-up? The runner-up, the runner-up for the month of July 2019 is Defector. And I reluctantly did this because, I mean, I don't know. I haven't played Wolfenstein Cyberpilot. Maybe if I played it, I'd be like, F it. No, Wolfenstein Cyberpilot. Defector, get the hell out of here. It's funny, though, when you consider Defector, like when I think about Defector, I don't think happy thoughts. I think, man, why was this so disappointing? What the hell happened to Twisted Pixel? You know, Wilson's Heart was such a great game, and they followed it up with this. Now, again, I haven't played all the way through Defector, but I gotta tell you, every time I go into the game, I feel like I have to eat my broccoli or something, or I gotta eat my spinach. Like I'm a little kid that is forced to eat spinach, doesn't want to eat it, but reluctantly has to eat it. Like, I don't want to go into Defector. There's something wrong with this game. If I feel like that, there's something wrong with you, bro. It's not me, it's you. No, I don't know. But But there's other people that love Defector. Like some people have this like in their top 5 for the year. Seriously. There are people that champion around Defector. There's people that really like this game. I don't know what the hell they're playing. I kind of wish I knew. But still, I'm going to give it the runner-up. Why am I getting... You guys might be saying, well, wait a minute, Anthony. All you're doing is talking smack, yet you're giving this the runner-up. The reason why I'm giving this the runner-up is because this is probably the most AAA-ish. It's definitely not AAA, maybe more AA. But it's the most AA kind of a game that did come out in July. And even though it did, and now we know, by the way, folks, now we know why Defector is so goddamn cheap, right? We know why it's so cheap. Defector is cheap because it was never that good in the first damn place. And somebody at Oculus knew it. Somebody at Oculus knew it well and was like, we're not pricing this at $39. We're not even going to price this at $29. We're going to price this at $20 because then that way people won't have their torches ready for us. So yeah, Defector is not as horrible as I'm making it out to be. And maybe if I played a little bit longer and got more used to how they like to do their control system and stuff, maybe I would have found some more nuggets in it. Maybe ultimately, you know, who knows? Maybe there will be one day in the far distant future when I play all the way through Defector and I realize, you know, I was way too harsh on Defector. It's actually not that bad. So I don't know, but that is my runner-up pick. All right, let's go ahead and see what folks are saying in chat about these selections here. Okay, let's see. Simplex PL is in the building, live from Poland. What is up, Simplex? Nice to have you in here. And let's see. Yeah, Skiva007 says, I really think Rakuten X is super underrated. It's a great game. People know about it. But yeah, it's probably still a little bit underrated. And then Skiva was celebrating that it did win Game of the Month. Okay, and iPad Carry has to go to work. Have a great show, Anthony and everybody. All right, yeah, you have a great day at work. It must suck to work on a Sunday, although I don't know where you're at. You might be in Australia or something. Maybe it's Monday. Okay, although it's probably like really late at night, right? Paulo Triani says, I'm not going to moan about Rakuten X winning because I've never played it and it might be the bomb. Well, it's very fun. It's fun. It's simple. It's fun. It has a very narrow focus and it does what it does very well. And it does the job very well. And it's a good exercise game. Like if you have an Oculus Quest and you want to have like a playlist of like 5 different games that you can go to get some exercise, Rakuten X should be really high up those charts. You know, the thrill of the fight, maybe Creed Rise to Glory, maybe Beat Saber, maybe Pistol Whip. You know, you might have like a certain list of games, Box VR, but Rakuten X should be in the mix. And I think the 3D audio really good. Okay, Skiva007. Defector was good if you don't consider any of the hype. But it's hard for me not to consider the hype because I was looking forward to Defector for a long time, had it ranked really high on the VR Game Rankings most wanted Oculus Rift games for a long time. And like, I remember when I first saw the price. I should have known immediately what was going on here. And I think I kind of suspected it. Well, I was shocked. I was absolutely shocked when I saw the price. Okay, Pack 360. Hello, Anthony. What is going on, Pack? Nice to have you in chat. That is awesome. Fluke says that the demo is still on Steam for Rakuten X. What it does well. Yeah, it's simple. You know, it's very simple. It's not doing a hell of a lot, but it does do it quite well. Okay, yeah, so that basically covers the month of July. So we went through the month of July. Now we're going to get into the month of August. But I want to do a quick break before we go into the month of August. So why don't I run one of these 60-second ad breaks, and then we're going to come back with my thoughts on Budget Cuts 2, Mission Insolvency. I've been playing a lot of that lately. It's the game I've been playing a little bit. And so I want to talk about that for a minute. So I'm going to go ahead and run this 60-second ad break right now and get that thing out of the way. And then we'll come back and we'll talk about some budget cuts too. So let's go ahead and do that. I wonder, see, here's what I don't know. I don't know if I should be continuing to do this show when these ad breaks are running, or if I just wait for them to end and it, like, I don't know how this works. Okay, so right now, no ads here. Yes, we can still see you. Yeah, it's not, it's saying, it's like counting down the ads, but ads here. Oh, okay, so maybe some people see the ads and some people don't. Yeah, I don't. I got to figure out how this works. You know who knows how this works? Bobby Mofo Blackwolf. Bobby Mofo Blackwolf knows how it works. Oh, subscribers don't get ads? Okay, well, anyway, we're running the ads. We'll just see what happens. So I guess whenever I run ads, I got to do small talk, I guess, is the way to do it. Just do some small talk. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about some budget cuts. Everybody should be back from the ads, and let's grab the Budget Cuts trailer, Budget Cuts 2. So here's the thing. Budget Cuts 2 came out. When did it come out? Was it like November something that it came out? But basically, Budget Cuts 2, Mission Insolvency, probably picked, no, it was like December 12th, huh? This was like one of those late releases a little bit. And probably a bad time for the Arrival Budget Cuts 2, because you know what? Boneworks was like 2 days later, and then everybody was playing a gang of stuff. Like, we had a million games to play. We're playing Asgard's Wrath, we're playing Pistol Whip, we're playing Stormland, we're playing E-Spire 1, VR Operative. You know, we're playing maybe Boiling Steel or something like that. We're playing all these different games. And then Budget Cuts 2 came out, but then we knew that Boneworks was like 2 days later. And so I think this game probably got lost in the shuffle a little bit. I don't know how it could not possibly get lost in the shuffle a little bit. But I played it originally when it first came out. I did get a key. Thank you very much to Neat Corporation and Fast Travel Games. It was a collabo that happened here. They did give me a key. I played it right away when it first came out, but I only played like the first 2 levels basically, and I wasn't done with the second level. It was like a level and a half. I talked about it on my Thursday show, like right after this launched. You know, I had a little segment where I talked about it, and I basically said, from what I've seen of this game, it feels better to me. It's running better. It's feeling better than the original Budget Cuts, because there was so much ridiculous hype about the original Budget Cuts. We finally got the original Budget Cuts, had performance problems and stuff, didn't really, you know, it had some issues there, although Main Fan will disagree with that and say that it ran beautifully for him. But for a lot of people, there were performance problems with the original Budget Cuts. Even to this day, I've still had performance problems with the original Budget Cuts. And this one just seems to flow better, run smoother. It just seems to work quite a bit better, right? And that's mostly what I said about it the first time I talked about it. Okay, so flash forward to today, and for a number of days, I didn't play any games. Any VR games. There was like 3 or 4 days I didn't play anything. I just didn't feel like playing any games. I know, weird, like super weird, right? And then so I thought, okay, well, let me go back into Boneworks, you know, because I haven't finished Boneworks, haven't finished Stormland, so got all these games that I need to go back into. I went into Boneworks, did play it a little bit, realized I was still stuck very early on, and kind of got pissed off after spending like 2.5 hours in Boneworks, making no progress whatsoever. So like the next night, I'm like, do I want to go back into Boneworks? And then I thought, no, you know what? Let me go into Budget Cuts 2. So I've gone back into Budget Cuts 2. I've played more of Budget Cuts 2. And I gotta say, I'm really liking this game, man. You know what it is about this game? It's Honestly, I think it's the teleport. It's actually the teleport. The teleport mechanic, like, I know it's very irritating for a lot of people, but one of the things that teleport does is when you're in a game that only has teleport, you find yourself moving around physically a bit more. You find yourself testing the boundaries of your play space a little bit more and physically walking around, because you know that all you've got is teleport. So you're going to kind of like test your boundaries a little bit. I've got a pretty big room scale space that I'm able to use here. So I'm really walking around in this game and I really feel a sense of immersion. Like, I don't know what it is about these very simplistic offices and stuff with the lighting and the doors and the desks and the little computer monitors and the little robots that are sitting at their desks and they're talking to you. But there's just a lot of good stuff that is going on with this game. I've got my bow and arrow, and I've been using that, and that works really good. I've been grabbing all kinds of like scissors and any kind of thing I can throw at some of these robots. And another cool thing about this game is I feel like the encounters with the robots, like when you're actually killing them, I feel like it feels a lot better. And they say some interesting things and they die in some very interesting and comical kind of ways. And so I'm enjoying this, man. So I'm going to continue to play this. I'm really liking it. I know it's $30, so it is a bit pricey. Like, a lot of people are like $29.99. Man, there's so many good games that are $20. Do I really want to pay that extra $10? I'm enjoying it. I feel like a good sense of immersion. And now it's kind of hard though. This game is kind of hard. I find myself in these different scenarios where I teleport over here and then there's like 3 different robots and I throw a scissors at this one guy, but another guy shoots me and I don't have enough time and it's like I died, but you go right back in. You can get right back into the game and start doing it right again. So pretty cool. So anyway, definitely liking budget cuts. Budget cuts too. Okay, so let's go back and let me see what some folks are saying in chat here. Shrewbrook, John Shrewbrook in chat says, I'm subscribed with Twitch Prime and not seeing any ads, but watching it on an iPad. Okay, yeah, apparently the people that are subscribed don't get the ads. And then the people that are subscribed do not see ads, and people that aren't subscribed do see ads or something like that. Okay, VR Spry Guy says, oh, come on, Anthony, you have to VR every day or you can't have a show. I kind of feel like that. I feel like that. And it really is weird to like not play any video games for like 4 days in a row, because I actually did that. 4 days. I did check out Big Screen. I checked out Big Screen in that 4-day period, but that doesn't really count. Yeah, so anyway, let's go ahead and get into our next game of the year discussion. So now we're going to get into the month of August. And so the month of July, lame. The month of July was very lame. The month of August, not very lame. The month of August has some bangers. The month of August has some contenders, some major contenders. So let's go ahead and get into that. So let me go ahead and grab my first montage. Of course, I did break these up into 2 pieces. So we've got 2 montages for the month of August. This is montage number 1. Let's go ahead and check it out.
You'll need to fight. The fate of the world depends on you. Do you have what it takes? Will you be a ninja legend?
Take on solo challenge, training, and quick play modes, or compete in online real-time multiplayer. So get ready to scramble it up in Sports Scramble!
30. Keep right, 3 left long to stop.
aboard the Fantastic Leap, you can let go and unwind with confidence, knowing that our crew is working around the clock to make sure you arrive at your destination relaxed, rejuvenated, and best of all, alive. So why not leave the hassle and toxic stress of life on Earth behind and chart a course for relaxation as you set sail toward a new life of leisure and luxury. Don't waste another second. Become a premium backer now and enjoy the finest space travel experience global crowdfunding can buy. The Fantastic Leap. What could go wrong?
All right, well, that is the first montage for August. And let me go ahead and grab our list here so we can go through the games that are in our first montage. We do have some bangers. There's definitely some better games in this month. Okay, so we started it off with Ninja Legends on August 8th. This arrived on the Oculus Quest, also arrived on PC VR. Got to admit, I've never been hyped on this game, and I've actually been surprised that a lot of people really like this game. Because to me, it looks like it would get boring as hell. Like slash, 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 slash. Like, doesn't that get boring as hell after a while? But people really like this, but I've never tried it. This is one of these games. Hopefully I get Viveport or something. Maybe I can try this game out, but there's going to be games that fall through the cracks. There's going to be games where I'm going to look at them and I'm going to be like, no, thank you. I can't play everything. Already did this rant last Thursday, was way out of control with my rant, way out of control with a lot of my rants. That can happen sometimes. These are live shows, and sometimes I have a bad day at work and I come home and I'm doing a show and then I go psycho. So that can happen. Okay, Sports Scramble. You might say, wait a minute. Sports Scramble was in the month of May. What are you doing? Well, we're talking about the Oculus Rift version, okay? Sports Scramble was only on the Quest in the month of May. On August 8th, it did arrive for the Oculus Rift. And I gotta tell you, the game is too goddamn expensive. That's number one. Like, the price should... I don't know what the price is, but it definitely... Is it like $29.99? It sure as hell should not be that. This should be $19.99, and honestly, maybe it should be like $14.99, to be completely honest with you. But I will say this, Sports Scramble is pretty goddamn fun. It really is. It's a fun game. It's just fun. You know, it's kind of like a Wii Sports kind of a thing. And the most enjoyable part of Sports Scramble is the bowling. The bowling is actually really cool. So Sports Scramble is one of these games that people probably don't take seriously, but it's actually pretty decent. But you'd like to get it for like $10. You really would on like a hardcore sale. Okay, Dirt Rally 2.0. The interesting thing about this one is we thought for sure that this was an Oculus exclusive, that this was only going to be available on the Oculus store. Dirt Rally 2.0 came out and it was available on Steam as well. And people are like, whoa, wow. We all thought this was an exclusive. Now, a number of people in chat have already said that they really liked Dirt Rally. In fact, I think a couple of people said that Dirt Rally was their game of this month, even over some of these other really big games that we're going to be talking about here. I got to be honest though, Dirt Rally has never done it for me. I don't know what it is in me and racing games, because I liked racing games when I was a flat gamer, but I was never really into like serious racing games. I was more into like the Forza Horizons and the Burnout Revenges and stuff like that. But I could still play like a real deal racing game, like one of the real Forzas or a Gran Turismo or something. I could rent one of those games and enjoy it for a day just to look at like the beautiful graphics and everything, but it really wasn't my kind of bag. But in VR, I've yet to experience I haven't experienced a racing game that has done anything for me in VR other than Wipeout VR. All of the rest of them, no, I don't know. Now, I don't have a wheel. I do not have a wheel. I don't have a motion chair. I don't have a stick shift or a clutch or any of these things. So I don't know what the disconnect is. I have tried Dirt Rally, not 2.0, but I've played the original Dirt Rally. And when I played it back on PlayStation VR, because I think it arrived on PlayStation VR first, I loved how the rain was coming down on the windshield, and I loved how they made it 3D kind of off into a distance, because a lot of these racing games, it's 3D, and then just to the roadside, like facades, like a Wild West town, like a fake facade, it would be 3D up to there, but that's where the 3D would stop. But Dirt Rally was like 3D for like a couple of blocks. So if there was like a barn out there, that barn was 3D all the way. It wasn't just a facade of a barn that you would see from the outside. And that did add to the immersion and made it more immersive. But like the bouncing around and stuff that happens in a Dirt Rally game, I get a bit motion sick. I get a bit motion sick when it comes to all of these racing games. And I don't know. I'm still waiting for a racing game in VR that really does it for me. I haven't found one. But people do love Dirt Rally 2.0. People swear by it and feel that it's a really great game. Okay, the next one. No Man's Sky. I was going to say No Man's Ski. No Man's Ski arrived on August 14th. Remember how big of a deal this was? Do you guys remember back to August, early August, we're waiting for No Man's Sky and we're wondering, oh my God, No Man's Sky, it's going to change the world. This is the game changer. This is the moment that VR gaming has been waiting for. No Man's Sky is our savior. You know, it's going to single-handedly save the VR gaming market. And No Man's Sky did come out, and it was amazing. It really was. John Shubrook in chat actually bought me a copy of No Man's Sky. How about that? Pretty amazing. Stepped up to the plate, gifted me a copy of the game. I've played it, and, you know, it's kind of my type of game, actually, because one of the things I've always said way back in the beginning, there's nothing I like more than being on an alien planet with my boots on the ground, feeling like I'm really here. I'm on an alien planet. I'm looking around. It's alien scenery. Everything is interesting and exciting. You know, you're on this alien world. Like, there's nothing better than that, right? It's so awesome to explore an alien world. And what game allows you to explore an alien world better than No Man's Sky and gives you virtually unlimited alien worlds to explore? And you can also get into your ship. You can take off and get out of the atmosphere. There's no change to the graphics engine. You're not switching over to a completely different game engine. You can land on a planet. Everything is happening real time. There's other people that are in there, a few of them that you can meet up and talk to. You can find these unclaimed planets. I mean, there's just unlimited numbers of planets, all kinds of weird, crazy stuff. There's all kinds of things you can do. Honestly, I've barely scratched the surface of No Man's Sky. And for me, this game, if you're a YouTuber, if you're somebody that does content creation, if you're somebody that like works on a website or you're involved in this thing, if you're involved in video games from the standpoint where you're always trying to keep track of the newest games that are coming out, all these different games are coming out, and you're kind of in a situation where you have to be a sampler. It's very hard to dig in and enjoy the main course because you know there's 28 other meals that are calling your name. And it's like, man, I'd really like to just sit here, just relax and enjoy this feast. But there's all these other meals, they're yelling at me. And then there's more meals coming next week. And then there's more meals the week after that. So it really makes it hard. I've spent hours in No Man's Sky, but nowhere near the kind of hours other people have spent in this game. You think of somebody like Reckoner VR, Gary, okay? Reckoner VR, right? We stopped doing, I can't remember when we exactly stopped doing VR Roundtable, but I know that when we stopped, Gary was just playing No Man's Sky for a couple of months. And there was a lot of people in my Discord server that just basically all they did was play No Man's Sky for a couple of months and barely dabbled in other games, like they really fell into it. And there is some other universe. There's some other universe where there is an Anthony that just played No Man's Sky for like 4 months and forgot about everything else. But that's not this universe. But No Man's Sky still, I mean, definite Game of the Year contender. Absolute Game of the Year contender. Probably should easily win. August 2019, right? Probably should easily win. I mean, we'll have to wait and see what happens here. Okay, so Red Matter. You guys know me in Red Matter. I've always loved Red Matter. I remember when we got the first trailer for Red Matter for the Oculus Quest, I didn't believe it. I didn't believe that that was real. I was like, there's no way. Why are they using the Oculus Rift version of Red Matter in their trailer? This is bullshit. It's false advertising, ladies and gentlemen. Then I got my hands on Red Matter and I was like, oh snap, this is actually real. The wizards over there at Vertical Robot, I don't know what the hell they did. Obviously fixed foveated rendering is part of it, but and another big part of it is you don't have like creatures that are moving around. You know, you're exploring these static environments. Having said all of that, though, you get into some of these rooms in Red Matter, like the one that really sticks out to me. There's this one room, it's a circular room that wraps around, and there's these tiles that are on the wall, like these little small tiles, and it's covering the entire wall. And I gotta tell you, the resolution, the clarity, the graphics in that room, incredible. You see that and you think, we don't really need more than a Snapdragon 835. Okay, no, we do. We need a lot more. And the fixed foveated rendering, the downside of that is you get your eyes off to the sides in your periphery, you see the fixed foveated rendering, and it does become bothersome. And it's more bothersome if you're in like a really bright environment. If you're in a darker environment, it's harder to notice. But I thought Red Matter on the Quest, fantastic, really awesome. Okay, Time Stall. This is a game not bad at all. Time Stall, not bad at all. Time Stall, not bad at all. Now, Time Stall is actually pretty goddamn decent. This game was made by Force Field Entertainment. I believe they made Landfall and another number of other games. And I got a key for this, and I was playing this on my Quest. This is not a bad game. By any stretch of the imagination, Time Stall is actually a very solid title. I mean, it's not going to be one of these games that's going to hold you over for months and months or anything like that. You're going to go through it and it's going to be fun, and then you're going to finish it, and it's like puzzles and stuff. But I thought Time Stall is pretty good. Like, it's not bad by any stretch. Pinball FX2 VR also came out on August 15th, and it's basically pinball in VR. Nothing to really rant and rave about, but it is solid. It works great. I did try this on the Quest. It's a little bit better than the Go version. So definitely some solid games there. That is the first half of our August 2019 segment. Okay, so now we got to do our second half. And you know what I'm going to do, guys? When I run this second half one, I'm going to try to run into the other room and get some water. I forgot to get water, but I don't know if this trailer is going to run long enough. So if it starts over, you know that I'm grabbing water, but I'll be right back. So let me go ahead and, so I'm going to switch over to the full screen trailer and start up the second montage. So I'll be back here in just a second, folks.
Here's to the dream built for us all. But for those who awaken, here's to breaking this world.
Show these creatures what you can do.
Alrighty, well, that is our second montage, and as you can see, this is a strong month. The month of August is very strong. So let me go ahead and get my list for the second batch of games that we just saw here. Okay, best VR games of August 2019, and here is the second batch. We, of course, start things off, Westworld Awakening. I don't need to say much more about that, do I? Okay, then we have Waltz of the Wizard Extended Edition. Now, in the month of August, this is a PlayStation VR release in the month of August. I'm not sure when it hit, like the Extended Edition hit PC VR. It might have been this same month. I know it just recently hit the Quest not too long ago. It definitely wasn't in August, but I'm talking about the PlayStation VR version of Waltz of the Wizard. Then we have Until You Fall. Yeah, some people might have forgotten about this one. That is a big game. Until You Fall is a really big game for the month of August. So we kind of maybe forget about that one a little bit. We've got Downstream VR, which is the whitewater kayaking game. That one came out on August 28th. And then the final big game, basically, of August 2019 was Akron, Attack of the Squirrels, which did arrive on, I don't have the date on here, but I believe it was August 29th, and that arrived on the Oculus Quest and also PC VR platforms as well. So these are all of the big ones in the month of August, and obviously the ones that we talked about already. And I mean, so we're talking about the month of August, right? And that is No Man's Sky. So what game wins the month of August? I mean, it's gotta be No Man's Sky, right? It's gotta be No Man's Sky, doesn't it? Doesn't it have to be No Man's Sky? No, it doesn't have to be No Man's Sky. No, the game of the month, ladies and gentlemen, is Westworld Awakening. And I gotta tell you, like, straight up, this is no joke. Okay, so first of all, you guys might be seeing this logo of Westworld, and you might say, wait a minute, that's not the logo for Westworld Awakening. Yeah, would you believe I could not find a large, clear, crisp logo of Westworld Awakening? I could not find one, okay? All around the internet, I looked. I've been around the world and I could not find a logo that was clear, and I will tell you why. No, but I could not find a clear logo, so I decided to use a large generic Westworld logo instead. This is the game of the month for August 2019. And not only is this game of the month for August 2019, but I'm going to tell you right here and right now, of all the games that I've covered so far in this Game of the Year discussion, this game wipes the floor with all of them. All of them. All of the games that I've covered up until this point, Westworld, number one. Number one. And that includes Audica. That includes Audica. That includes Blood and Truth. That includes No Man's Sky. That includes all of my game of the months so far. Westworld is number one, ladies and gentlemen. Number one. Incredible. Incredible. Basically, there are moments in Westworld. Now, I don't know. I don't know what to say about it, because I don't know how much of it is just me being a fan of the TV show. I don't know how much of it is that, but it's just... You know what it is I'm a vibe guy. Not vibe, V-I-B-E. I love the vibe of things. I love the atmosphere of things. And nobody delivered atmosphere and vibe like Survios did. I want to talk to the producer, an executive producer. I've got to interview somebody on Survios' team that made this game, because I'm telling you, they stepped up to the plate. They knocked this shit out of the park. Straight out of the park. Grand effing slam. They killed it. They absolutely killed it. You got to play Chapter 2. Chapter 2 of Westworld Awakening might be the best individual level I have played of any VR game ever. 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 Did I say ever? Incredible. Westworld Awakening, sensational. Incredible story. The futurist. Now, at the very beginning, see, here's the thing. Chapter 1 sucks. Chapter 1 will give you the wrong impression of this game. I was in Chapter 1 of Westworld, and I was like, oh, this is terrible. I don't feel like my hands are working right. There's a million pictures of devs that just took a black and white picture and put on a cowboy hat and called it a day. I'm looking around these environments. I wasn't impressed with anything in Chapter 1. I got to Chapter 2, and it was a whole new world, baby. A whole new world. And then you go on to Chapter 3 and Chapter 4 and Chapter 5. Completely put this game to bed. I finished it all the way. Oh, god damn, such a great job. Survios might be the best developer out there right now. They might be the best VR gaming developer out there right now. Okay, so anyway, that is Westworld Game of the Month for me for August 2019 by a country mile. Now, what is our runner-up? And this should not come as a big shocker. I know there's people out there that are scratching their heads and they cannot believe that I would choose Westworld Awakening over No Man's Sky. But dude, I'm just going to be honest, man. I'm just going to be honest. Now, part of it is a game like No Man's Sky. If you're a content creator, if you're doing this kind of stuff, it's so hard to appreciate something like No Man's Sky because you just don't have the time, man. You just don't. It's like there's like a Harry Potter movie, you know, that lasts 3 hours and 40 minutes, but you don't have the time for Harry Potter. You have the time for maybe a freaking episode, not even the time for an episode of Black Mirror. You've got time for like a 45-minute episode. You don't have time for a 3.5-hour movie. And that's what No Man's Sky is. It's never ending. It's endless. And you think about these games, they overwhelm you. Like you can't even think about it. You know, so I typically just stay away from this stuff. Like I want to get in there and I want to see it. I want to know what all the hype is about. Now one of the things I will say though, here's a caveat. Time out. Here's a caveat for that whole rant that I just did a second ago right there. My caveat is this. As long as No Man's Sky is, as overwhelming as it is, as much of a cornucopia and a smorgasbord of entertainment as it is, and it seems overwhelming, and so that's a big part of the reason that it kind of overwhelms, and so you back away from it. But as much of it as it is like that, the thing I'll have to say is, if it was truly, truly, truly compelling, it would overwhelm me and I wouldn't be able to stay away from it. It's the same thing I have to say about like Asgard's Wrath. Asgard's Wrath is in the same category as this. Look at a game like Fallout 4 VR. It's the same kind of way. It's overwhelming. It's this giant behemoth of a game. You feel like you don't have enough time for it, especially you're a content creator. You're doing things. You got to see games every week. There's games coming next week. There's games coming the week after that. Developers are sending you a key. They expect some freaking Let's Play or something. They expect coverage. They expect an article on the website or whatever it is. It's hard, man, but I'm telling you, if the game is so ridiculously compelling, it would force your ass into the game. And No Man's Sky didn't quite do that for me. Now, you are on, boots on the ground. You're in an alien world. It's an incredible alien world. But here's the problem for me with No Man's Sky. There's no combat. There's no story. Like if I was meeting, there might be some story and stuff like that. But if I was meeting characters in No Man's Sky and having dialogue trees with them, and interacting with them and then I'm like, okay, I'm joining up with these natives and we're going to go battle these other natives on the other side of the planet that are killing and raping them. So I'm going to help out these natives overthrow these other natives. If it was something like that, I would probably just be enraptured by it. I wouldn't be able to pull myself away from it. So what I'm trying to say here is I can make the excuse that these games are so freaking big. Asgard's Wrath, No Man's Sky, Fallout 4, Skyrim. These games are so huge that I just don't have time for them. But the truth is, if they're really, really, really compelling, I would find a way. I would find a way to somehow make time. I would sneak time in. I would stay up late. I would be up till like 3 in.the morning doing some bad things, waking up the next day with bags under my eyes and sleeping through the first couple of hours of my job. I would figure out a way. And I did that with Fallout 4 to a little bit of a degree because Fallout 4 VR was compelling in that sort of way, but it wasn't really built for VR, so not as much as it really should have been. But yeah, so that's kind of my thought. Now, I still love No Man's Sky. It's still a great game. It's got, I mean, think of the smorgasbord. Think of the cornucopia. Think of how much juice is there. You know, how many VR games do we have where, like Westworld, you know, you can compare it head to head to Westworld and be like, well, I could finish Westworld in under 4 hours. You know, if I'm really A to B about it, I could finish Westworld in under 4 hours. You can't even get through like the tutorial, really, of No Man's Sky and even know what the F you're doing in 4 hours. So you can make that argument there, and there is a lot to work with here. And I always talk about this isn't the game that's going to hold you down. You know, like Time Stall is not the game that's going to hold you down. Racket NX is not the game that's going to hold you down. When I mean hold you down, I mean like months. Like you're going to be playing this for months. It's going to hold you down. No Man's Sky is the poster child of the game that's going to hold you down. Same thing with like an Asgard's Wrath as well. This is the poster child of the game that will hold you over for months upon months upon months. It's an incredible game. But you know what? The fact that this did not win Game of the Year, that just goes to show you how effing banging Westworld Awakening is. And god damn it, I was amazed, ladies and gentlemen, absolutely amazed that I've watched a lot of Game of the Year stuff, and I'm amazed at how little Westworld Awakening is mentioned. It's a travesty, ladies and gentlemen. It is a straight up travesty. I got to imagine that a lot of these people that are doing Game of the Year celebrations, they're not mentioning Westworld Awakening. They haven't played all the way through Chapter 2, Chapter 3, and Chapter 4. They haven't seen the end credits roll. There's no effing way. That, or maybe they did and they have no appreciation for Westworld, the TV show. They don't know anything about it. And so they weren't blown away by how close these environments were recreated in VR. I still, like, just, you know, going back to Westworld Awakening for a second, I just can't get over, man. Like what I always go back to when I think of Westworld Awakening, they have these computer screens. They have these tables. They have these black tables that have a computer screen on the top of it, like a Microsoft Surface, all right? And you're walking through these hallways, and there's this black table with a computer screen on top of it, and it's got cracks running through it, like it got smashed a little bit. And you're looking at it, and the cracks look exactly like a cracked screen would really look. And the video signal that is underneath that cracked screen is scrambling and glitching in a way that it would exactly like if it really was a screen that was cracked and fucked up and it was glitching like that. It looks exactly like it should look. The guy that did that at Survios, the guy that was in charge of that guy needs to have his salary doubled. That guy or gal or whoever the hell it was, that was an achievement, ladies and gentlemen, because if I had full field of view and if I had human resolution, you know, full resolution photorealism, they freaking did it, man. They did it. And some of those computer screens in Westworld Awakening, you go up to them, there's words. It's not gibberish. There's words. It's detailed. The environmental detail that was all around that world of Westworld Awakening, fan-effing-tastic. But that wasn't the end of it, man. It was the dialogue. You know how we talked about Trover, and we said that the dialogue would start when you wanted it to start. It would stop. Mostly did this the same way in Westworld Awakening. Crystal clear clarity. I felt like I was watching the TV show. The audio was as good as the TV show. The acting of the actors that did the audio was as good as the TV show. I'm not playing, folks. It was as good. There was no drop off. There was no drop off. It was interesting. The conversations that were going back and forth between the person that worked at Westworld and you, who you're like an android, you're a host, you're a robot, and you're questioning your reality. You don't know what's going on. You're seeing things you've never seen before, you know, because all you knew was the Wild West, and now you're seeing computer screens and shit. You don't know what's going on. Dead bodies all over the place. And you're communicating with a Delos employee that is trying to guide you through this experience. And the conversations that you're having back and forth, interesting conversations that actually stimulate your mind, man. Westworld is an achievement. People don't get it. People don't understand this. God damn. I loved it. But I was a fan of the show. Now, Fluke, dude, you're negative on a lot of shit, man. You really are. And Fluke is like, look, I liked Westworld, but Anthony's out of control here, is probably what Fluke is saying. And maybe I am. Maybe I am out of control. But man, Westworld, incredible. Absolutely incredible. Alrighty, guys, that'll do it. I'll see you guys on Thursday, 5 p.m. Pacific time, back on YouTube. We'll see you guys then. All right, everybody have a good one. Take it easy. Enjoy those NFL playoffs, man. Seahawks, I think, are playing this afternoon. Got to check that out. Hopefully the Seahawks advance. I haven't watched hardly any NFL football, but I will try to check that one out. All right, guys, see you next time. Take it easy. Later.